I'm here with Tim McMillan, the President and CEO of the Canadian Association of Petroleum Producers. He's in town for the CAP Symposium today. I'll start by asking you exactly, Tim, what you expect to come out of the next few days, the symposium.
Well, it's our third year doing our CAP Scotiabank Investment Symposium here in Toronto. It's an opportunity to bring about 80 oil and gas companies that are looking for investment. There's over 300 investors, which is up 20% from last year, and looking for investments in Canadian economy.
Now I'm here to talk to you about the state of Canada's oil sector. As you know, major pipelines are being delayed. The Northern Gateway was just approved, but not a shovel has been put in the ground. It was approved over a year ago. Energy East was delayed. As we know, Keystone XL won't be approved until the president is out of the White House, President Obama. What does this suggest to you? Does this suggest that sort of anti-oil extremists, we'll call them, are winning?
You know, I think that we certainly have challenges. I think that pipeline and market access is one of the big challenges facing our industry. We're seeing a lot of the slack being taken up by rail. We're seeing optimization of our current pipeline network. But we have to acknowledge that we're going to increase the amount of oil we produce in Canada this year by about 150,000 barrels. We expect another increase of a similar amount next year. So getting market access is essential for our industry, but for Canada to be successful. And we're undertaking engaging Canadians. The pipeline companies have a great safety track record. I think there's a lot of information that needs to get out there, and we have to continue to engage in Canadians and Americans as we look to continue to feed that market.
What about on fracking? Most of Atlantic Canada has brought in moratoriums on fracking, even though there's a high unemployment there. Do you see any chance of that reversal? You
know, it's something that we obviously watch very closely. We will continue to make the case for fracking. It has to be done safely. Canada has some of the best regulation in the world. It's been done safely in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Alberta, and British Columbia for 50 years. In Eastern Canada, in Quebec, it's a newer phenomenon, but we believe that it can and should be done safely. We think it's good for Canada.
Do you think that, in light of all of this that's going on, do you think that the energy sector has been aggressive enough in defending its image?
Yes, I think we have been, but I think that we have to continue to improve our game as well.
And how would that look?
Well, this year we're actually undertaking a slightly different approach. We know in any poll you ask that about twice as many Canadians support the energy sector as oppose it. But it doesn't always seem that way.
No, not at all.
If you look at even core supporters, we still have the majority support as oppose. But if you look at those that are willing to advocate without being asked, those that oppose are about 3-1. And if we're looking, you don't see many people pick up a sign and go to a protest to support the energy sector, where you on times will see the other. But that's the nature of our approach this coming year. Asking Canadians who are passionate about our country, about this industry, to raise their hand, to be vocal, to stand up to what they hear that they don't think is true.
I think that taxes and royalties from oil and gas were taken for granted for so long, even by critics of the oil and gas sector. Do you think that Canadians realize how much we really sort of relied on the oil and gas industry?
I think most Canadians don't understand the importance of this industry to Canada. It makes up to 20% of the stock exchange, the TSX. It's about 10% of our GDP. It's fundamental to the prosperity and success of Canada. So that's, I think, an important part of this discussion as well. As we talk about safety and performance, the success of Canada is part of it.
What do you say to those that say that Canada bet everything on their oil and gas sector and now we're paying the price?
I think that Canada is a very diverse country. As I said, about 10% of our GDP comes from oil and gas. It's important, but it's not exclusive. We're a country that is based on developing resources from the early days of the fur trade, robust agriculture, forestry, mining, manufacturing. Canada is a country with great opportunities, and I think it's important that we capitalize on the ones that we do so well at.
And finally, what's CAP's #1 communications objective in 2015, would you say?
Back to engaging our supporters. We have far more supporters than we do opponents, and engaging them and raising our hand as Canadians to say, we support this industry. We think it's important to have a strong and robust and safe oil and gas industry.
All right, Tim. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you, and good luck over the next few days at the symposium.
Great. Thank you very much.